The moment the girl lowered her sunglasses, I recognized her. Madison Reed. If campus rumors had a CEO, it was Madison. She wasn't just popular. She practically ran the university's social media gossip page. Every awkward breakup, every party disaster, every embarrassing photo somehow found its way onto her account within hours. And judging by the grin on her face, we had just become today's headline. Seriously, Ethan muttered under his breath. Madison walked closer, without an ounce of shame. "This is unexpected," she said, tilting her head. The football captain, the robotics captain's biggest rival, and Ethan Carter's little sister all having coffee together. That's premium content. "We're not content," Ethan replied flatly. She ignored him and looked straight at me. "So, are the rumors true?" "What rumors?" "That Caleb Hayes has been secretly dating someone for months." Silence. I nearly dropped my coffee. Caleb didn't even blink. Madison smiled wider. "Oh, that face tells me everything." "It tells you nothing," Caleb answered calmly. "Really? Because your expression says, 'Please stop talking before I lose my patience.'" "It always says that." Fair point. A few students had already slowed down nearby. Some openly stared. Others pretended to check their phones while obviously listening. Fantastic. Exactly what every college freshman dreams about. Madison lifted her phone. "Mind if I take one picture?" "No!" Ethan and Caleb answered at the exact same time. For the first time since arriving, they actually agreed on something. Madison laughed. "Wow, you two really can cooperate." "Leave," Ethan said. She pretended to think about it. "No," she looked back at me. "So you're Emma." I froze. "You know my name. Everyone knows your name now." That sentence somehow made my stomach sink. "What does that mean?" Madison casually unlocked her phone. She turned the screen toward us. There it was. A blurry photo from yesterday. Me accidentally crashing into Caleb outside the engineering building. The caption read, "Football King finally smiles." Mystery freshman identified. Nearly 15,000 likes. Thousands in less than 24 hours. "I hate the internet," I whispered. "I've been saying that for years," Ethan replied. Madison looked almost disappointed. "I honestly expected something more dramatic." Caleb folded his arms. "You've had enough." "I haven't even started." His voice stayed calm. "You don't want to." For the first time since she'd arrived, Madison hesitated. Only for a second. But I noticed. So did Ethan. Interesting. Apparently, Caleb Hayes had a reputation even campus influencers respected. She recovered quickly. "Oh, please," she smiled again. "I'm just helping people stay informed." "No," I said before anyone else could answer. "You're helping people stay entertained." The smile faded just a little. "You don't know me." "I know enough." For a brief moment, neither of us spoke. Then Madison shrugged. "Suit yourself." She slipped her phone into her pocket. "But trust me." She looked directly at Caleb. "If you keep looking at her like that," she turned back to me, "the entire university will figure it out before the week is over." Without another word, she walked away. The crowd slowly disappeared with her. The plaza finally became quiet again. I let out the breath I'd been holding. "I need a new identity." "I know a guy," Ethan answered immediately. I stared at him. "You know someone who creates fake identities?" "No, a barber. You need a haircut." "Despite everything." I laughed. Caleb smiled again. This time, Ethan noticed. He sighed dramatically. "I cannot believe I'm saying this." Caleb waited. "If you're going to keep talking to my sister..." Hope flickered across Caleb's face. "You are doing it where I can see you." Caleb Hayes never fumbled. Not in football, not in class, not in life. So when everything collapsed in a single afternoon, My brain simply refused to believe it. I was still staring at my phone when it started buzzing again. Ethan. I answered with the emotional stability of someone walking toward a final exam they forgot to study for. Hey! Emma, my brother said without greeting me. Please tell me your mystery internet boyfriend is not Caleb Hayes. I squeezed my eyes shut. Technically, his username was Falcon. That is somehow even worse. Ethan. No. Student union. 10 minutes. The call ended. My roommate, Olivia, slowly lowered the cereal spoon she'd been holding. I'm guessing that went well. If I disappear, I sighed, grabbing my hoodie. Clear my browser history. She blinked. What's in it? Mostly searches like how to survive college without embarrassing yourself and can perfect hair be considered suspicious. She laughed as I walked out. The University of North Carolina campus looked peaceful. Students crossed the brick pathways carrying backpacks and iced coffees. None of them knew I was about to become the main character of today's disaster. Ethan was already waiting outside the student union, hands in his jacket pockets, jaw tight. He looked exactly like our dad whenever someone tried charging extra for a simple oil change. I had barely reached him before another familiar figure appeared. Perfect timing, or the worst timing imaginable. Caleb Hayes, 6'3", dark blue hoodie, football duffel bag slung over one shoulder. That same unreadable expression he'd worn the first time we met outside the engineering building. His eyes landed on me immediately. Then Ethan turned around. Silence. The air suddenly felt 10 degrees colder. No. Caleb stopped walking. I haven't even said anything. You don't need to. I rubbed my forehead. Please. Ethan pointed directly at him. You're staying exactly where you are. Caleb raised an eyebrow. I wasn't planning on kidnapping your sister. Good, because I already imagined 3 different ways this conversation ends badly. I stepped between them before either of them could continue. Ethan, he looked at me. You knew who he was. I found out yesterday. Yesterday. It felt longer. Caleb almost smiled. Ethan noticed instantly. Don't smile at her. The smile disappeared. I sighed so loudly that 2 freshmen walking nearby actually looked over. You guys are both engineering students, I muttered. Surely communication isn't this difficult. Ethan folded his arms. He's captain of the robotics team. Caleb nodded. Correct. He beat my team last semester. Barely. You still won. Only because your coding crashed. Caleb finally looked back at me. The hardness in his expression disappeared so quickly, it almost didn't seem real. This wasn't the confident guy everyone on campus admired. This was Falcon, the guy who stayed awake with me before finals. The guy who sent terrible raccoon memes whenever I was stressed. The guy who somehow always knew exactly what to say. And now he looked nervous. Caleb Hayes looked nervous because of me. That realization did absolutely nothing to help my heartbeat. I liked talking to you before I knew your name, he admitted quietly. Before football. Before campus gossip. Before everyone had opinions. I looked down at the coffee cup warming my hands. I thought you'd be completely different. In a bad way. In a terrifying way. A small pause. I scared you. You have serious villain energy. He actually looked guilty. I'm sorry. Well, that wasn't fair. Someone with a face that intimidating wasn't supposed to apologize like a puppy that accidentally knocked over a flower pot. I wasn't exactly innocent, I admitted. 24 hours. Things were surprisingly normal. No public arguments, no awkward confrontations, no mysterious gossip posts. I almost convinced myself the chaos had finally passed. Then Thursday morning happened. I was halfway through my chemistry lecture when my phone vibrated. Unknown number, meet me behind the science building after class. It's important. No name, no explanation. Just that. I frowned. Olivia leaned over from the next seat. Everything okay? I honestly don't know. She glanced at the message. That looks like the beginning of either a romantic confession or a true crime documentary. Helpful. I try. When class finally ended, I told myself I was only walking over to satisfy my curiosity. Definitely not because my heart secretly hoped it was Caleb. The path behind the science building was nearly empty. Tall oak trees blocked most of the afternoon sun. A few students crossed the parking lot in the distance. Then I saw him. Caleb was leaning against a brick wall, one hand in his pocket. The second he noticed me, he straightened. You came. You sent a mysterious text. I figured you'd ignore a normal one. Fair. Caleb nodded once. That's fair. Ethan pointed a finger at him. Don't make me regret this. I won't. I looked from one of them to the other. It wasn't peace, not even close. But for the first time, it also wasn't war, which, considering how today had started, felt like a surprisingly good outcome. Practically ran into you. You apologized to a brick wall. I panicked. I noticed. A loud fake cough interrupted us. We both turned. Ethan was standing only a few feet away beside a vending machine, trying very hard to pretend he wasn't listening. Ethan, I called. I can literally see you. I'm checking the snacks. The machine is behind you. Poor design. For the first time all day, Caleb let out a quiet laugh. I immediately whispered, "Don't." He frowned. What? If he hears you laughing, he'll think you're challenging him. Too late. Ethan slowly turned around. Oh, we're laughing now. Before anyone could answer, a confident female voice echoed across the plaza. Well, well, this is going to make an excellent story. Every head nearby turned toward the girl walking across the courtyard, with her phone already pointed in our direction.